Big NFL news today. Big bucks for Dwight Freeney. The Colts signing a 6-year, $72 million contract with $30 million in signing bonus. That's the number that matters most because it's the only cash that is guaranteed. He's now the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. John Clayton, you broke the story. What was the sticking point and how'd they clear it?
It was just a matter of trying to get the number to $12 million or at least get it above $10 million because for so many years the top defensive players have been kind of stuck at $7.5 to $8 million. And so the more you started thinking about it and realizing, Michael Strahan back in the late 90s was making $8 million a year, it was inevitable that somebody was going to top it. And now for Dwight Freeney, a pass rusher, he's now paid like a quarterback, something that he's very happy about and very thankful to the Indianapolis Colts for now making him the highest paid defensive player in football.
Freeney had the franchise tag on him. What's the latest on the other guys who now still have the franchise tag?
Well, there's a little stall now in the Corey Reddy negotiation with Detroit, and of course, that's going to go possibly through the weekend to get something done. They were making good progress Monday and Tuesday. Now they've hit a little bit of a roadblock, and so they have the weekend to try to get something else done. As far as Asante Samuel, nothing happening there between the Patriots and the Patriot cornerback. That looks like it's going to be a holdout through the season, and as you know, Lance Briggs is only being offered the one-year tender. He's going to hold out training camp. We'll see if he holds out into the regular season.
John Clayton, stick around. We're coming right back to you in a minute. But with that, we welcome you to NFL Live, Friday the 13th edition. Happy to be alongside the Pro Bowler Eric Allen. I'm Steve Bunin. We got a lot to get to in the next 30 minutes, Eric. But we want to start about Dwight Freeney because only Reggie White and Derek Thomas had more sacks in their first, 4 seasons than Freeney, 51. But only 5.5 last year. So why give him this big money now?
You know what? When you look at him and you look at his career up to this point, I mean, he's able to come off the pass, off the side and rush the passer as good as anyone in the league. Of course, when you're that dominant, they're going to set up. They're going to have game plans for you. So I think that was a bit what happened to him last year in the downfall. But if you look at his overall performance, you look at his overall body of work, I love the way he works out in the offseason. I know the guy, gentleman, who works him out in the offseason, Darren Willis, and the guy is just a beast in the offseason. So you know this is not a one-shot pony. This is a guy who's going to be able to put up great numbers if you don't double him every game. And I think he's not just getting paid for what he did last year, but he's getting paid for his body of work, what his off-season conditioning is about, setting the bar, what he eats, and he's the entire package. He's the real deal here.
A lot of people doubted him coming out of Syracuse. Could he play every down in the NFL? He's proven
small to the, you know what, but he had a great off-season workout, like I said, and he came to play.
And he's proven that he has, and now he's got the money to back it up. A $30 million bonus, John Clayton. And the Colts now have got about $90 million tied up just in bonuses, guaranteed money for Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and now Dwight Freeney. How dangerous and how unique is that in the NFL?
It's just now part of the business because if you're going to take care of your top players and you're trying to make a multiple Super Bowl run, you have to do this. And most of their money, if not all of their money, has been tied up on the offensive side. This was the first major move now to try to take care of the defense. And I would imagine now the next effort's going to be on Bob Sanders, the safety, to try to get something done there. When you realize if they would have franchised him, it would have eaten up about $34 million at least over the next 3 years, and they didn't plan to lose him. So in a lot of ways, they free up more cap room to try to use it on their players. Hey, that's one of the advantages of the cap going up to $109 million. The prices go up, but you do have more room to do some things. And now with this deal being done, they've freed up about $3.5 million to try to work on some things on their own team, and they have $10 million overall to be able to do that.
You got some holes to fill. Dwight Freeney certainly not one of them, and his contract makes him the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. And an average salary, he's now right up there with some of the big name quarterbacks. Sort of interesting that you get quarterback 1, 2, 4, 5, and Dwight Freeney now 3. And of course the signing bonuses, those are the guaranteed money. And at $30 million, he's sort of halfway between Tom Brady, which was about $24 million, and Peyton Manning, $34.5 million. There's 4 big name guys who still could hold out. One of those, Lance Briggs, the linebacker of the Bears, is agent Drew Rosenhaus. So next question. He said he wants a long-term deal or wants out, and coming off the Super Bowl loss to the Colts, the Bears don't need or want any distractions.
Right.
Asante Samuel, quarterback for the Patriots, says he'll sit out till week 10. 10 picks last year. You believe him, Eric?
You know what? I think he's the kind of guy who needs to get in and play with the Patriots. Just the system and the player who makes such a sound team together.
And they didn't like that with Deion Branch. Send him packing to Seattle. How about Mark Bulger? unrestricted free agent after this year, coming off a career season in attempts, completion, yards, and touchdowns. We assume that he's close.
You know what? One of the most underrated players in the national, just not quarterback, in the National Football League, does a solid job for this football team, and I'd be surprised if he held out.
Maybe the biggest name on the list, Larry Johnson, second in rushing last year to LaDainian Tomlinson, wants LT money, $8 million or more per. Is he worth it?
Well, you know what? I think he is worth it to the Kansas City Chiefs because they need to be able to start with that running game, and only him can do that.
All right, well, he joined Eric Dickerson and Terrell Davis as the only backs to crack 1,750 yards in back-to-back seasons. John Clayton, what is the latest on Larry Johnson?
Well, each side took this week to kind of reflect on things, and next week they're going to go back into heavy negotiations to see if they can get something done. But this still looks like it's leaning toward a holdout. Just from the standpoint, it's going to be very difficult for Larry Johnson at the age of 28 to try to get the Chiefs to get him to pay the big dollars, you know, $8 million or more to try to get something done. Remember, the Chiefs hold all the cards because they have him for $1.9 million this year. They can franchise him next year, but also, too, Larry's position is, I'm not coming back and having 416 carries at $1.9 million, particularly at the age of 28. Important 2 weeks of negotiations starting on Monday.
And something to keep in mind, Larry Johnson, 27 years old, and just broke Jamal Anderson's record for carries in a season. Jamal Anderson was 26 when he did that, played just 21 more games the rest of his career. How about Mark Bulger? What's the latest on the Rams quarterback?
Well, they had some progress on Thursday in a meeting in Los Angeles in negotiations, but they're still not close to getting anything done. And I think part of the problem has to be, you know, Drew Brees' contract from a year ago, because he now makes $10 million in New Orleans, and now most starting quarterbacks are going to want that. Now, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Dwight Freeney negotiations play into that, with Freeney now getting $12 million as a defensive end, because now this could push the bar up and maybe get the Rams to pay more than $10 million a year to try to get Bulger done. They need to get something done by the start of training camp.
John Clayton, as always, with his finger on the pulse of the NFL. Eric, when you talk contract holdouts, I mean, this becomes very dangerous for team chemistry. And you've been involved in the situation. You held out. What made you do it, and what did you find the effect to be on you and your teammates?
Well, Steve, I've been on both sides of it. So, in the first instance was, you know, you're on a team, you're waiting for the big name guy to come in, the Reggie White, the Clyde Simmons, the Seth Joyners, and you know there is a little bit of disruption as far as the camaraderie is concerned. But you understand that the guys take care of business in the offseason. You want the team and the player to be able to meet in the middle. And at the time when I was sitting at training camp waiting for the guys to come in, you're just kind of waiting, buying your time. You really don't understand it until you actually get into it and you understand where you belong, what you think you should be paid for and compensated for, and you see the guys in front of you. And then you have to take it into your own hands. Say, you know what, this is a business decision. It's nothing about the team, nothing about the players. I need to get in, take care of myself and where I belong in the National Football League, because it's, again, situation. You take Larry Johnson, for instance. Larry is a running back. 400 carries in a year. He's going to wear down eventually. I think he sees the numbers headed for the downhill, so he wants to get paid now so he can be fairly compensated for himself. But, you know, both sides, I understand the player's point of view, and you definitely understand the fans and the team's point of view.
And one thing is, in the NFL, it usually does get worked out. It's just a matter of when and how many practices you miss in training camp. Much more to come on NFL Live, Friday the 13th edition. Not always unlucky. There have been some great players to wear number 13, certainly Dan Marino, but who else is on the list of best NFLers at 13? It's a shorter list than you might think, and it is coming up next. Plus, you can't have any fear in the NFL. Eric, you know that. But if you were scared, what should you be most scared of? Tom Brady with the ball, 2 minutes to go. Devin Hester on a kick return. Eric's got his list. It's next. Boo. It is Friday the 13th on NFL Live. Who are the top 5 number 13s in NFL history? Gotta say, at number 5, Mike Vanderjagt, most accurate kicker in NFL history, but he did have that one miss, Eric Allen, in the playoffs a few years back.
Yeah, he was cut, Ledge.
Sort of hurt the Steelers. Anyway, Jake Scott, how about the cornerback, Super Bowl VII MVP, still the Dolphins' all-time pick leader? You have to like a guy like that.
You got to, man. Put those numbers like that.
Kurt Warner, 2-time MVP, Super Bowl MVP, and quickest transition ever from grocery stock boy to NFL poster boy. Right. Don Maynard, a Hall of Famer, no question about it. 1987 gets in.
Great route runner.
Absolutely hooks up with Joe Namath, Super Bowl III, and the best number 13 of all, no question about it. Dan Marino and Isotone.
And that's scary trying to cover a guy with Dan, because you can never cover a guy good enough. You throw it in his back or something.
Pretty good arm Dan Marino had at number 13. It is the second Friday the 13th of the year. We had one in April as well. No more scheduled till December. If it truly does make you scared, you've got triskaidekaphobia. which I'm just going to say once. But in the NFL, you can't be scared, right? You got to have a lot of attitude.
That mask.
Got to have that arrogance. But if you're going to fess up and admit there are some things that scare you as an NFL player, we wanted to get your list. Top 10 scariest things in the NFL right now.
Well, first of all, you know, you love him to death. He is Mr. Football of the 80s and 90s. But being on the cover of Madden, not very good.
6 great guys.
Yeah.
This time the next year.
And Vince, you know what? I hope it's not real, but Vince, be careful. Number 9, you know what? Playing behind that Texas offensive line.
Just because David Carr was sacked 249 times in 5 years?
Good luck, Matt. I'm telling you, this is not nice. This is scary. This could be right after Jason and Freddie and all those guys. Number 8, being singled up on the man. Come on, are you kidding me? Sean Merriman, lights out, will take you out.
17 sacks, missed 4 games.
And missed 4 games. Yeah.
But number 7, you go from a tough linebacker to a kicker.
Yeah, and you know what? This is me over in the corner right there, and that was a nightmare. That was a nightmare. I ran right off the football field. That was my last game. Adam Vinatieri's always clutch. Big time Adam Vinatieri, one of the most viable guys to win Super Bowls for the team. And number 6, you know what? Lining up against Champ Bailey.
You're a rookie wide receiver?
If you're a rookie guy coming in, it doesn't matter. He can do it all. Get you great numbers. He shuts down. He tackles well. I mean, the best in the game right now. Has been the best for the last couple of years.
And the flip side.
In the flip side, now this is scary. I played against him, but he was just a kick returner at the time. But some of the things this young man can do is just unbelievable. I love Steve Smith, and definitely a nightmare for not just rookie cornerbacks, but every cornerback in the league when you see him. Number 4, 2-minute drill, Tom Brady, and yes, again, I played against him, and I understand it, and it was nightmare. I dreamt about it many times.
21 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter overtime, 5 of those in the playoffs.
Just Mr. Cool and clutch. And another thing, trying to read this, we're sitting here trying to read this. We played him a couple years, I think in 01. Trying to read that took us a whole halftime. Then we still couldn't figure it out. And he let it easy on us. But Peyton Manning, trying to understand that, just unbelievable.
That's special teams at number 2.
Yes, look at this, just chilling, and then breakout, just explosiveness. Devin Hester, I think he won an ESPY for best breakout guy too. So
2 NFL records as a rookie. Total returns in a season for touchdowns, 6, 5 of them on kicks. How about your number one scariest thing in the NFL is?
You know what? Trying to tackle LT. He'll straight arm, he'll shake you in the hole. I seen him one time, he moved in the hole, I think he disappeared and ended up in the end zone somewhere. And then he can throw, I mean, he's 7 for 7 touchdowns. He can do it all, trying to tackle LT.
And he turned down the Madden cover.
That's right.
He knew what was coming. What about you in your career? Scariest thing you faced?
You know what? I tried to tackle Terrell Davis once, and you know the whole line had been cut and chopped blocks. So it was just me and TD, and he needed like 2 yards, and I had to sacrifice my body. And I woke up like the next day. So he kneed me in the helmet. Just not very nice. Him, Ironhead Hayward had to tackle one-on-one once. So just not good. The bus, all those guys.
All the big guys.
I want to cover guys. I don't
Little corner, you like to get the pass. 3rd and long.
Jam.
That's where you're doing your best.
That's right.
All right, it is pretty scary to play in the NFL. Lots to be worried about. We're going to find out your pregame superstition coming up on the clock, by the way. All week long, we've been telling you the top rookies would be in the AFC. Now we separate the best from the rest. Who makes the cut and who doesn't might surprise you. The impact rookies in the AFC in 07 when NFL Live spirals on. Friday the 13th on NFL Live, all show long. We're sort of going through 13. And these are the guys who've been picked 13th in the NFL draft the last few years. Each made a pretty big contribution to his team last season. Adam Carricker picked by the Rams out of Nebraska. The only 13 picks who've made the Hall of Fame, by the way, Franco Harris, 1972, and Kellen Winslow, 1979. Chargers. They should be dancing. For the last 2 weeks here on NFL Live, we've been peering into the future, breaking down the immediate upside of the league's incoming rookies. This week, we zoomed in on the AFC. Jamarcus Russell may be the face of the Raiders franchise, but if he's face down in the mud or flat on his back with that offensive line in front of him, he might not make that big a difference this fall. Who will? Todd McShay has the answer.
I believe the biggest impact player from the entire secondary with that pick.
All right, thanks, Todd. And keep in mind, both NFL Rookies of the Year this past season came from the AFC South. Vince Young with the Titans and D'Amico Ryans with the Houston Texans. Eric, how about your picks for AFC offensive and defensive Rookies of the Year?
Yeah, you know, when you talk about Rookies of the Year, it's maybe not the best player, but the best player in the situation. I think Anthony Gonzalez, and I agree with Todd, has a great opportunity to be the Rookie of the Year on offense because he's going to be in that slot. And although Peyton Manning won the championship, I don't think he was happy in the way they won the championship. He wants to come out firing the ball, letting guys know that his offense is hot and ready to go. And I think Anthony could be the beneficiary of some passing because they're going to double two outside guys. So look out for him. I think he's going to have a fantastic year this year. Defensively, when you look at it, it's all about the sacks or interceptions. And you know what? Interception-wise, it's not going to happen a lot because you have a lot of tremendous quarterbacks in the league. But you're talking about Jarvis Moss being able to come off the outside with the Denver Broncos. They already have a stout interior line as far as the linebacker core is concerned. So they need an effective pass rusher really to dominate on the outside pass rush against the Chargers and Kansas City Chiefs and those type of teams. So I think this guy can really sneak in and get him maybe some double-digit sacks this year.
Denver snacked him at 17. Also keep an eye on Buffalo's rookie Marshawn Lynch, big running back out of Cal, 12th overall pick in the draft.
Favre lays it up for Freeman, and it's incomplete. Or did he make the catch at the 15? Yes. What are they going to rule it? He caught it? Touchdown. He did what?
Yeah, well, Friday the 13th, it's good luck to you. Might be bad luck to me if I'm Chris Dishman of the Vikings and you're Antonio Freeman of the Packers. It could cost you Friday the 13th. So we wanted to go through 5 unluckiest plays in NFL history. So again, lucky for some, but unlucky for others. We start at number 5, Eric.
And this still kills you. No matter how many times you see this, you just feel
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, right. And he wanted that. Look at the sideline. He roughed Danny White just throwing his helmet. So unbelievable. That is one of the most unluckiest plays in sports history.
Cowboys settle for a field goal, lose the Super Bowl by 4, and Smith retired before the start of the next season. This one more recent, Tony Romo. You've seen this recently.
It's no bad for Tony. You know, Tony was having such a great year, and the Cowboys looked like they were going to be able to win this ball game. He still almost got in, but
hey, what? Seattle fans were okay with that.
What's up with that kicking ball? You got to get a different ball. Rub it down a little bit, man. Look at the guy.
Slick. How about the miracle at the Meadowlands? The luckiest or unluckiest play in history. 1978 November. Giants up. No timeouts for the Eagles. And we got a ball on the turf, and some guy named Edwards.
Herm Edwards, who's the Kansas City Chiefs head coach, runs it in. I'm good friends with Herm.
Oh, why you kneel
exactly. You kneel no matter how. And defensively, you always want to pound whoever kneels.
All right, now number 2, you might have to hide your eyes, Eric Allen.
Oh, come on. Now we planned this out. If people don't understand, we planned this play out. We knew it was going to happen. We knew they'd slide the line one way. They're going to try and throw the post the backside. Charles and Beekert set everything up. We're celebrating off winning the game. And what is this here? Come on.
I don't even have to say anything.
This is unbelievable. That should be number 1.
Well, number 1 is the Immaculate Reception. December 23rd, 1972. Steelers and Raiders. Terry to Frenchie. Frenchie meet Jack Tatum. Ball meet Franco Harris.
At the time, the Raiders were my favorite football team, so I'm at home probably crying at this time, too.
Franco Harris. NFL Films called it the greatest play of all time. Any idea how many Friday the 13th films there are? 11. And working on one more. The star is Jason, our favorite NFL Jasons, on Friday the 13th. Coming up next on NFL Live. Don't go away. We've got playoff football tomorrow on ESPN, the Arena Football League Conference Championship. We've had some upsets, but at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific, the Destroyers and the Force, followed by the defending AFL champion Chicago Rush and San Jose SaberCats. Playoff football tomorrow on ESPN.
We got it going on.
Time for some NFL quick hits. According to the Tennessean, Adam Jones has refused to meet with Georgia police, who want to question him about a strip club altercation about 3 weeks ago that they say led to a shooting nearby. Titans cornerback has been suspended the entire season for numerous off-field incidents, including 6 arrests. Busy day for the Colts. They signed Dwight Freeney to the multi-million-dollar extension and activate Corey Simon off the PUP list. Could just be a precursor to cutting him. He and the team at odds about money after he had knee surgery. Time for our Friday the 13th favorite Jasons, the villain in the 11 Friday the 13th slasher films. Got to set the tone.
Yeah.
How about Jason Taylor, NFL Defensive Player in the Year, 13.5 sacks, 2 interceptions for touchdowns, 106 sacks in 10 years. You like this game?
Yeah, it's a nice game.
Jason Witten, tight end, coming off his 3rd Pro Bowl season with the Cowboys. Just the 10th tight end in history with 3 straight 60-catch seasons.
Like Jason, too.
How about Jason Campbell getting a try at a full-time starting job with the Redskins? 7 starts last year, 2-5 Washington. You like that?
Yeah, he can either be scary this year or good Jason.
How about Jason Elam, 63 53-yard field goal against Jacksonville in 1998 ties an NFL record. No player in history has scored more points for one team than Elam with the Broncos. Which is the better Jason kicker, Jason Hanson, All-American punter and kicker at Washington State, 15 years old with Detroit?
Hanson, I like Hanson's game. You know, he can tackle too. I like
They've
that.
both got some game. You've got some game, and it's time to give you the Friday the 13th edition of On the Clock. Let's get 1 minute on the clock. You ready?
I'm ready. Do it.
All right, time to ball. Favorite Jason that you played with or against?
You know what? I played with Jason Sehorn in a alumni flag football game. It's pretty cool. And
All right.
Jason has some game. Good
How about
athlete.
your biggest pregame superstition?
You know what? I never bought into it until I tore my ACL, and then I used to squirt WD-40 on my knee before the game. Every game.
They
From
teach you that in
89.
med school?
No, it was a San Diego product, so I had to use it.
All right, well, we've heard about like Ray Lewis literally blesses his teammates